Hi guys and welcome to another vlog. I'm riding this. This is the Yamaha YZF R3. What does YZF even mean? YZ is I think the name for their sports bikes for the road or something of that sort. And F obviously stands for 4-stroke. But we miss 2-stroke Yamaha motorcycles like obviously the RX 100 and the RX 135. But anyways, coming back to the R3. The R3 is finally back after being missing in action for 4 years. But this new model has been on sale for 3 years now. And that's the reason why the design is not similar to the latest R15 which we get in India, which just has a better and more modern design. But anyways, the R3 is a fantastic motorcycle but crazy overpriced. This one costs rupees 5.52 lakhs on road Mumbai, which is crazy mad. In fact, it's 6,000 more expensive than its naked sibling, the MT-03, the 03 or whatever you want to call it. Both of them have exactly the same cycle parts. Not much to differ other than the fact this gets a full fairing and it looks sexier and clip-on bars obviously. Now first things first, if you notice that the design of the lights is very sporty, and I think this is not channeling anything anywhere other than for the horn. The horn needs to cool down or what, I am not too sure. And it says Yamaha here on the front mudguard. It gets upside down folks, but these are Chintu Mintu upside down folks. 37mm only. Yamaha, why do you give such poor specs on paper that people don't even want to come to the showroom to ride a motorcycle? But still, it's very impressive. It gets ABS. It says ABS here, which is a revolution because when the R3 was first launched in India, it did not have ABS only. Dual channel ABS here and 298mm front disc. Tire size at the front, it's 110/70/17, and I love the color of the alloy wheels, but I don't know why it's getting dirty and getting chipped off, so painting has not been done properly. Now these motorcycles, both of them, are extremely expensive because they come from Indonesia via the CBU route, completely imported, high duties on them, so I expected the quality to be fantastic. Unfortunately, it's not. Some issues in terms of quality with this particular R3 I will show you in a bit. But the motorcycle looks absolutely sexy. Ground clearance 160mm, seat height 780mm, which is very good for short riders, and tall riders also okay. They're not that bad on this motorcycle. Notice how there's a cut here for better breathing of this parallel twin engine. Pegs are sort of center set obviously. All LEDs, yeah, the indicator is LED, everything is LED here, which is nice because the Japanese were obviously giving us halogen till a few years back. Some cuts here with the Yamaha logo on the tank. The tank doesn't look as big as on the MT-03. 14 liter is what it can accommodate. Seat is fine, rear seat is useless. This is the handle to hold on to because there's nothing else to hold on to. Yamaha logo right there. It gets a monoshock suspension, obviously, that's the norm right now. And thankfully there's this sort of a plate so that your shoes don't get burned because of the exhaust, which is obviously heat. Peg position is a bit high for the rear. 140 section rear tire, 140/70/17. These are MRF tires. Grip levels are okay, not the best. 220mm rear disc here, and the motorcycle looks absolutely gorgeous. What a beauty! And obviously the rear tail section is very similar to the MT-03. The lights will remind you of other Yamaha motorcycles as well. So a lot of design elements have been shared from here and there, but it's a gorgeous looking motorcycle. There is no two way about it. But can it sell only for the looks? I don't think so, because it misses out on a ton of things. For starters, there is no adjustable levers. Rather, there are no adjustable levers. There's no slipper clutch. There's no Bluetooth connectivity, which even the R15 gets, which is less than half the price actually. And this motorcycle gets an LCD display here. There's no TFT here either. So let me turn off the motorcycle and let me turn it on. It does this full swipe up thingy. Yeah, it's so dated a console. It will give you the odometer, twin trip meters, what's the fuel efficiency both in real time as well as average. That's about it. This is like crazy. There's a clock here, and this is a gear position indicator, speedometer, engine oil level. Yeah, I don't know what that means, but it has a fuel meter. That's a revolution for a Japanese motorcycle. Just kidding, that's a revolution for an Italian motorcycle. Rest all the way to 30,000 RPM, where the vibrations will actually disturb you a lot. Clip-on bars. This is the pass by switch. Low beam, high beam horn. Oh, loud. This is for the indicators. This is for the hazards, engine start and kill switch. This will not really protect you from wind blast. Mirror positioning, I'll tell you when we ride this motorcycle, which is right away. Let's go, let's go. Let's go, baby.
Alright, R3 time is here. Let's turn it on. No one's going to buy that bike. I'm so sorry. Absolutely no one's going to buy it. And off we go. I don't believe this, that both the motorcycles are identical, yet this R3 feels very different to ride. Purely, you know why? Because of the riding posture. It makes a huge difference here. Clip-on bars actually transform the whole riding experience. I'll be honest, the MT-03 feels easier to ride. This one feels not that easy. It feels a bit of an effort to ride, but then This one definitely feels a lot more fun somehow. You feel more engaged, you feel more into the motorcycle or on the motorcycle somehow. And then obviously you can see the riding posture right now. It's a bit committed, but not that much. It's actually very, very, very comfortable a motorcycle. And it flows through the corners beautifully because it's very sporty. The clip-on bars really transform the experience here. Yeah, the brakes could be better though. Oh my god, the original motorcycle, the Hero Honda Charisma. Performance is not going to scare you here at all. For this price, you should shit in your pants, but you're not, because the engine is very linear here. It's extremely smooth, extremely refined, and even when you push it into the top end of the rev range, it doesn't really push you back as such. It doesn't become frantic, and that's the reason why Yamaha has not given it traction control, simply because it doesn't need it only. What will it do with traction control? It never loses traction, even though the tires aren't that great, because the bike doesn't have that much power or performance that it will need traction control. But it's a nice engine. I love the engine, although I can feel the buzzing on my testicles, yeah, around the seat, around the tank, around the handlebars, on the foot pegs as well. There is some buzzing for sure, especially when you push it past 5000 rpm. It starts, becomes worse around 7000 rpm, and is at the peak near the red line. But that's something you would live with, because the engine is absolutely amazing. It redlines all the way till 12,500 rpm. Yeah, I can feel the buzzing on the mirrors as well. This E-Class seems to be quite fast, but a motorcycle is a motorcycle because of the power to weight ratio. This weighs 169 kgs, which is 2 kgs heavier than the MT-03, and you really don't feel the weight of this motorcycle as such. Shift light blinking right there. Buzziness is a lot here, but that's fine. The mirrors give you a decent view of what's around because they're mounted here on the fairing, and if you want to filter through traffic, it's a bit of an issue when compared to the MT-03, because obviously the fairing makes it a little bit wider as well. Revving it gives me a nice massage on my lower half of the body. That said, I have to admit, it's a very desirable motorcycle, a no nonsense motorcycle, a motorcycle you can short shift because it has got grunt lower down as well. So it's punchy, it's like nice and juicy, low end, decent mid range, fantastic top end. Yeah, this is how a motorcycle should be. The more you rev the engine, the more it should reward you, but it's very linear in that regard. It sounds nice as well. It doesn't sound that good lower down, but when you rev it hard now, it sounds really nice and throaty as well. So this is a 321cc parallel twin engine with 42 horsepower and 29.5 Newton meters of torque. It's the same as the older R3 which was sold in India, so no upgrade in that regard. They haven't really improved the performance as such, but that's Yamaha for you. If it ain't broke, why fix it? That's their mantra. Okay, I can feel a lot of wind blast because of my height, but if I duck, I can contain that wind blast to a certain extent as well. Brakes are decent, they're not that great. Yeah, tires and brakes, they need to be improved here for sure. There's no denying the fact. Yeah, and I need a slipper clutch as well. I don't need traction control. This motorcycle definitely does not need traction control because it doesn't have that much performance to actually leverage traction control. And the lights are going to go green. 3, 2, 1, and off we go. Jump start for that Honda motorcycle. Sorry Honda, Yamaha is better. I love it. I love the feel of riding this motorcycle. It just feels so phenomenal a machine, but it feels super overpriced. So when compared to the Aprilia RS457, this is 25,000 more expensive. The Aprilia has a lot of electronics, feels faster, rides handles, everything is better in that motorcycle. Okay, this suspension is better somehow, but the rear is just a bit too soft, because of which I can feel the bounciness at higher speeds over bad bumps and expansion joints, but I'll not crib much about it because the ride is actually very good for our roads. So the ride is fantastic, ride quality is amazing, suspension is very nicely tuned, but the rear is a bit too soft. It needs to be a bit stiffer and hard for a sporty motorcycle like this one, the Yamaha R3. So time to launch in 4, 3, 2, 1. Revving the motor. No soft limiter here, and off we go. First gear 64 kilometers per hour, second gear 88 kilometers per hour, 87. Third gear it will get me to 116 kilometers per hour. Into fourth gear, ducking down for better aero bits. Yeah, aero efficiency improvement. 143 in fourth, straight into fifth, and that's about it. 157 in fifth, it will do 160 in fifth, and in sixth it will go all the way to 180 kilometers per hour, slightly faster than the MT-03, owing to the fact that this has got a full fairing, and a full fairing definitely means that better aero efficiency as well, lesser wind blast, although there's a lot of wind blast on my arms. So this is a very windy area right now, and I can feel the wind, and that's fine. I can deal with this wind because the motorcycle is so lovely. Only thing is it's stupidly expensive. What a stupid pricing strategy. I have no idea what they were doing there. Aja, neutral mein aja. There. Oh, by the way, this happens to be our own editor. You are going to edit this video. मैं उसके साथ रेस लगा था, मैं भूल ही गया, ये तो अपने अमित भाई है. Anyways, indicator, and here we go. Okay, taking a U-turn is not as easy as the MT-03 because of the clip-ons, but trust me on this motorcycle not only rides better, it even handles better than the MT-03. How is that possible that it has better ride and handling? Simply because you have more weight at the front because of the way the riding posture is. That lends it better front end feel, and now it's time to launch it once again. So how fast does it go from 0 to 100 kilometers per hour? We will find out. Guys, open your stopwatch, time me, and come on, force neutral, what is happening? And off we go. So it takes around 5.8 seconds to go from 0 to 100 kilometers per hour. You can't do clutchless shifts. There's no quick shifter here. Clutchless shifts don't really work that well. Usually they do, but even without a quick shifter, but not really here somehow. So that's a bit weird. Sometimes you miss it and there's a false shift. So that's why I'm not trying it much here. But otherwise, it's a very no-nonsense package. It's a motorcycle which you can take it to the track. You can ride in the city because it doesn't really hit that much. You can ride it through the ghats as well because it handles well. And then if you change the tires, you can take it to the track. And this is a motorcycle you can actually, and I kid you not, you can actually tour with it as well. Firstly, you can't take a pillion because the pillion seat is shit. So you can mount your luggage at the rear and go touring as well. So this is sort of an all-rounder motorcycle, but a very expensive one at that. Its main rival, the KTM RC390, which is a rival of every motorcycle, it is firstly a chapri, and secondly that motorcycle is 1.7 lakhs cheaper. There R15 trying to race me. भाई तू जा, ठीक है, तेरे स्पेस बहुत सस्ते हैं इसके सामने, जबकि स्पेस उसके भी महंगे हैं. So yeah, like I was telling you, the RC390 is much cheaper, 1.7 lakhs cheaper, but then the RC390 is a single cylinder machine, so then there's no comparison as such. I just wish that Yamaha starts assembling this motorcycle in India via the CKD route. That's their plan for sure, localizing parts and components in the future to make this motorcycle more aggressive in terms of pricing. But I don't know what's taking them so long, because the R3 was on sale long back as well, 6-7 years back. What were they doing at that time? Sleeping or what? When it was available in BS4 form, then they discontinued it when BS6 norms came into the picture, and now it's back after a hiatus of 4 years. And it's not that impressive for the price. You expect more. Okay, I am okay without traction control because a bike like this does not need traction control, but I'm not okay without slipper clutch. I'm okay without Bluetooth as well because Bluetooth is stupid and just pointless shit. I don't want to take calls when I'm on a motorcycle because that's the freedom of a motorcycle. Nobody can get in touch with you. You're on your own. You freaking arrive alone. Okay, now we are going to launch it one more time. So here we go. Driving the motor, and off we go. Oh, front end lifting a bit here. Clutch is not the lightest. Gearbox is super slick shifting, but that's something you would expect from Yamaha. To get the mechanical bits of a motorcycle spot on. 14-liter fuel tank, fuel efficiency between 25 to 30 kilometers per liter. So it's decently efficient as well. I am just hoping that Yamaha reduces the price dramatically. This is at least 84,324 rupees more expensive than it should be. And if you like my astrology here, please like this video and also subscribe. I will see you guys in the next video real soon. Bye bye. Okay, let's get a bit horny. I realized that the position of the horn is such that it's made to prevent people from honking, because you have to little stretchy and then only honk. It's not, it should be here, the horn should be here. So that's a bit of a weird positioning of the horn. And filtering through traffic, not an issue because it's a motorcycle at the end of the day. Give me any motorcycle, I'll still filter through. Just don't give me an Activa or a Bullet, because with a Bullet I'll have my milk can lying at the rear, so that might just hit here and there and spill the milk as well, rather the water, because I'll mix milk with water. Obviously everyone does that, nah? Kidding. Bye.